A land dispute between the government and the developer is going to the courts on Wednesday after the title holder refused repeatedly to comply with the cessation order issued by the Department of Environment. On January 18th, an enforcement notice was issued by a DOE rep in the company of a police officer. The situation escalated and the legal reps from both the police and the ministry intervened, and they were treated with hostility, as can be seen in this live social media video. 10 days later, however, on Friday, the department was successful in filing a lawsuit against the developer Dion Zabaneh.
The Department of the Environment on January 18th issued an enforcement notice effectively ordering the owners of the parcel to cease all activity on said parcel and to restore the parcel to its original state. As you may have seen, the guy on both occasions, he was very hostile to the officers who attended. And essentially, assault is once you apprehend fear. So I don't even need to hit you. And his demeanor, his attitude, his approach was that of a hostile person intending to harm the officers.
I'm currently standing on what once was the Caribbean Sea, but this was designated as parcel number 4670, the titled property of Primrose Gabriel. For the past week and a half, her son Dion Zabaneh has been filling up, literally taking in the sea. This does not sit well with the Department of Environment, who has since issued a stop order. Residents in the area are perplexed and say that it is deja vu because back in 2006, an injunction was obtained after concerns were expressed about the validity of a title being issued by the Lands Department for a portion of the sea, which was sold to the developer. While it does not fall under the purview of the Department of Environment, Javon Hull says that title aside, the developer needed environmental clearance from his department for works to be done.
Any activity that may have any significant impact on the environment, that prior to commencing any developmental activity, that they first obtain environmental clearance.
That did not happen, right?
In this instance, no.
So what happens now? Because we understand that there was a back and forth since the 18th between the department and the property owner, and specifically with abiding to the law.
Okay, well, following the 18th, the department issued the cessation notice, the enforcement notice, being more legally specific. At that point, the developer failed to comply. The persons on the ground on that occasion, rather than entering into a confrontation with the developer, we thought it best that the developer will come back and prosecute for failure to comply with the enforcement notice that was issued.
Zabaneh's actions over the past 10 days are in contravention of the Environmental Protection Act, and the charge of failure to comply with an enforcement notice carries a hefty fine of $25,000 per day.
Because of repeated occurrence, and then it was basically a slap in the face to have this activity continuing and the developers seeming as though they were immune to the law, that the heads decided that no, we really need to stop it. And as such, a stronger team was sent on the ground to physically stop all activities. The matter will be considered at the court insofar as the enforcement notice that was issued and the violation of that enforcement notice. In addition, charges were also laid in respect of failure to comply with the environmental legislation.
Residents say that the damages done in the area cannot be returned to its natural state. Hull says, however, that with the desired effort, the landfill can be removed. Meanwhile, titles to portion of the sea are of concern to the Department of Environment.
Areas in this instance, such as the sea floor, the seabed, would be areas that would be of concern, and you would want to ensure that whatever rights that may accrue as a result of the seabed, that it takes into consideration the environmental issues.
Acts like these have been done before, where parts of the sea has been reclaimed, refilled?
I believe so, yes. If you look at the entire Marine Parade, that was reclaimed land. That was land taken from the sea. And now you have a nice...
But
Well,
it got approval and everything.
But that went through the process. What we're advocating is process. In this instance, there is a process that the developer needed to follow, and he failed to follow that process. And so now we're in this situation that we're now in.
Duane Moody for News 5.